MSNBC is reaching the point of no return. The beleaguered cable news channel has collapsed in ratings below that of many favorite YouTube channels. Now, a former host, Joy Reid, is reportedly ready to burn what remains to the ground, as she's done living without a megaphone. With all this trouble and Rachel Maddow mostly leaving MSNBC programming, real analysts are beginning to wonder how much longer this can last.
What I was doing had value. And in the end, I try not to cry on TV. And I think this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we as ever endeavor to explain entertainment. Keeping you ahead of the culture curve is what we do, and we do it with a joy and a zeal that even the Holly Weirds can feel. And folks, we hope that you understand what it is that we do here on this channel. We attempt every single day to serve up 4 videos, which, when you get into them, turn out to be intellectually deep and which are convincingly intelligent in the way that we present the information. That is the goal, a video of excellence. And folks, we're going to do the same today. As we get started, click the like button, and please take note of a programming issue, which we want you to be tuned into. That is the Disney shareholders meeting, which will be coming out this Thursday. And that will result in us doing the Pro Show at an odd time, 11 a.m. Eastern this Thursday. And then we will hand it over to Valiant Renegade once the shareholders meeting begins. Live coverage on this channel and Valiant Renegade Thursday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern, the Disney shareholders meeting. It's also the same day that Snow White comes out, so plenty to cover. Well, folks, we have plenty to cover when it comes to MSNBC. We're going to begin at hotair.com. This one by John Sexton. It says, Joy Reid is ready to burn MSNBC's house down. All right, let's see what John has to say. Joy Reid was fired from her hosting gig at MSNBC 2.5 weeks ago after 10 years with the company. Her immediate response was to post a video defending the value of her show on the grounds that she gave a lot of free PR to the left and left-wing organizations. Here's what she had to say. We'll play it right now for you folks.
My show had value, and that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I try not to cry on TV. And I think this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life and defended them. All
right, let's hold there, folks. That's enough of it. We just want you to see it. And also, we know that many of you out there, you've seen Joy Reid in the past. You've watched what she's had to say, and she has not been kind to people who cry, depending on their ethnic ancestry background. Okay? So I get that. So some of you feel sorry for her. Maybe I do. Some of you don't. Maybe I don't. Whatever the case may be, she was not taking it well when her show was ended. Now, compare that, by the way, to the way that Tucker Carlson handled it when his show was ex-nayed from Fox. At the time, of course, Tucker Carlson was the biggest show on cable TV, not just cable news, but cable TV. Compare Joy Reid to Tucker, and you'll see, I think, a very big difference. By the way, that difference might have something to do, as we continue to read on, with the way the right responds and the way the left responds. No good or bad here, folks, but the right tends to be more individualistic. The left tends to be more communal in the way that they associate themselves with the world. So Joy Reid, as we're going to read, the way that she handled this probably didn't make the MSNBC brass very happy. We'll get to it. Here we go. It says, an MSNBC insider said she's livid and she knows everything. She's ready to burn the house down. Here's the communal part. According to sources, Reid signed her own death warrant by holding an internal summit with other anchors, including Rachel Maddow, Lawrence O'Donnell, and Nicole Wallace, to unite and battle against the network's new strategy to be less left-wing biased. Okay, so here's the deal. MSNBC was spun off by Comcast. Spun off, and that means into their own entity. They were allowed to keep the name NBC in the MSNBC, but the reality is that they don't have any connections with NBC anymore. They have no access to the reporters, etc. Budget / new leadership brought in. Reid kicked out the door along with many others in the programming. Why? Because they can't afford them. So how did Reid respond when it was obvious that this was a cable channel in trouble and they were cutting and cutting and cutting, but she had not yet been cut? How did she respond to this? How did she respond to new leadership? Well, it looks like she joined forces with Rachel Maddow, Lawrence O'Donnell, and Nicole Wallace behind the scenes to kind of stage a coup, a mutiny, if you will. Buck the trend and say, oh no, new leadership, you're not going to win. But it did not go well whatsoever. All right, let's go to Radar Online, which has the exclusive here. It says, dumped host Joy Reid set to scream bloody murder over being axed from MSNBC. And of course, there's the same quote that you saw over on Hot Air. It says, an unrepentant Joy Reid is set to scream bloody murder and seek vengeance against MSNBC for canceling her show, The Readout, and unceremoniously kicking her out the door. The 56-year-old anchor, who had been with MSNBC for over a decade, is said to be furious over what she sees as a backstabbing betrayal from the very network she helped build. This is where I think the crux of the matter lands, folks. Joy Reid believes she is owed something. She doesn't see herself as someone who was failing in the ratings and who had gone so far out into left field that the people couldn't see her from the bleachers. She doesn't see it that way. She believes she built this house and this house is good. The reality, of course, is very different from that, but that doesn't change her perception. And for her, perception is reality. And she is now a scorned woman. She is angry and she is out for vengeance, according to these reports. For MSNBC, this could not come at a worse time. Although I will say, folks, because I want to give both sides of this, I want to give you the best analysis possible. Although this comes at a very awkward time that we're going to discuss with MSNBC, and there are now discussions of whether MSNBC can survive, there is the issue of, well, if you are MSNBC, are you perhaps interested in a fight? Because a fight could drive up ratings. And this is something that you'll see from time to time, folks, not only when it comes to cable channels, but also YouTube channels, also media personalities. As they see their power wane, sometimes they feel that there's something to be gained in conflict. Now, in the YouTube arena, I don't think that's true necessarily. I actually believe that the market is so big that it doesn't do you well. But when it comes to MSNBC, having Joy Reid come after them, there is a very small chance that that could actually drive up the ratings. Well, they're going to need it. This is by Noah Houff, and it's for dailymail.com. It says, Rachel Maddow's rant at MSNBC bosses backfires spectacularly as her ratings slump. So this is what's happening right now as Joy Reid is saying she's going to burn the thing to the ground. Well, it's already sinking. Rachel Maddow's rant at MSNBC bosses appears to have backfired spectacularly. Of course, Rachel Maddow came out publicly and defended Joy Reid. As 5 million viewers fled the news program in a massive 22% ratings slump. The Rachel Maddow show dropped from 2.3 million viewers to 1.8 million viewers since the election of President Donald Trump, who won the election. This started even worse with younger viewers aged 25 to 54 losing 29%. Now that, of course, is the group that matters. Now, I'm not telling you that if you're 75 watching the Rachel Maddow show that you don't matter, or if you're watching Fox News and you're 75. I'm not saying you don't matter. I'm telling you that you're not part of the demo. And the demo is the group that buys the stuff that's on the commercials. That's why there are advertisers. And so if you're not part of that demo, well, that's what the cable channel needs to survive. Goes on to say she lost a quarter of her audience, or 24% in the first 2 months of 2025 compared to the same time last year, which is incredible, by the way. Now, in a previous video, we talked about The View and how Disney seems to be cherry picking, right? It'd be interesting to see, and perhaps we'll have to do that video soon, how The View compares if we don't cherry pick how its viewership compares. And the reason that would be interesting is because The View is essentially MSNBC on ABC for an hour during the daytime, and yet Disney is declaring, well, it's doing just fine. I have a feeling that's not true. But over on MSNBC, I can tell you that they're not having a good time. I can also tell you that when it says the $25 million a year host erupted at MSNBC's new boss live on air, what I can also tell you is that for $25 million, you better not be slumping 24%. Because if you do, now to go to AdWeek, folks, in our final stop here in this video, if you do, then the analysts who cover this sort of thing for a living may begin to wonder if the whole thing can even hold up any longer, or is it a house of cards? This out of AdWeek analysis: can MSNBC afford to have Rachel Maddow to return to a Monday-only schedule? For you see, at the end of Trump's 100 days, his first 100 days, Rachel Maddow's plan is to make that $25 million and only work 1 day a week. Rachel Maddow seems able to do that because Rachel Maddow has MSNBC in a corner. And maybe it's time for MSNBC to find a way out of that corner. The problem for MSNBC is that, unlike CNN, MSNBC is running out of personalities that anybody can recognize. For CNN, they still have Tapper, they still have Wolf Blitzer. You know those people. For MSNBC, if they get rid of Maddow, they're getting down to O'Donnell, who people really know him, and Jen Psaki. Circle back Jen Psaki. So MSNBC is running out of personalities. Personalities make the world go round in cable news. Now, this is an article by Mark Mochiro, and it says, we've reached the midpoint of President Donald Trump's first 100 days in the Oval Office. That's also the midpoint for Rachel Maddow's return to a Monday through Friday schedule. In that time, Maddow has given MSNBC a ratings boost, fueling the network to double-digit growth in primetime and total daily. Now, folks, if you've been watching, I would push back on that assertion, but let's leave it be for the time being. You know that the ratings have been dropping for MSNBC. You know that MSNBC is getting something like tripled by Fox News. But let's set it to the side for a moment. Let's see what the rest of the article has to say. MSNBC suffered a sharp ratings decline after the conclusion of the 2024 presidential election. Now, that seems to me to be a complete counter to what was just said. Maybe I'm just too obtuse, but it looks to me like you can't say ratings are sharply down and ratings are up. Maybe there's something more convoluted that I just don't understand. But anyway, the network's primetime ratings fall by 57% between Election Day and December 31st, 2024. MSNBC averaged 660,000 primetime viewers and 55,000 in the 25 to 54 viewers during that period. Now, this is why, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you this is a channel that cannot continue this way. And I want you to pay close attention to this. I'm not trying to be frivolous in my statements. I'm not trying to be sensational. I'm really not. I want you to understand this. There are 55,000, average viewers in the demo, the people who buy stuff. 55,000. I want you to understand that there are small YouTube channels, not big YouTube channels, small YouTube channels that are beating that. YouTube channels that neither you nor I have ever heard of are beating that. And MSNBC has hundreds, at least, workers on staff. This is unsustainable. Rachel Maddow is not doing terrific. But if Rachel Maddow steps aside, if this gets ugly with Joy Reid, if she's down to 1 day, or if leadership fires her completely, I don't know what this channel is going to do. I don't know what remains of it. And this continues to be the collapse of the legacy media that we've talked about. How much of the legacy media was held up by USAID and other federal funds flowing to them? I don't know. But without those, I can guarantee you that these ratings are not sufficient for MSNBC to survive. The Rachel Maddow Show continued strong performance, it says, during the first week of March, drawing 1.9 million total viewers and 167,000 in the demo. But folks, let me tell you, $25 million contract. Only 100 days, doing it 4 days a week. MSNBC can't afford this. And when you have Fox shows pulling more than 5 million, and Rachel Maddow is pulling 1.9, and she's your biggest thing, And when you have Joy Reid getting ready to go absolutely nuclear on MSNBC, you can see that this is just a, what should we call this? This is a house of cards. This is a set of dominoes ready for someone to push the first one over. And maybe that already happened. Maybe the dominoes are already falling. Maybe MSNBC will be the first to go. Folks, it won't be a surprise to you because you come and you enjoy this content. We're not here to weigh in on the politics of it. We're here to tell you what's going on in the business and the ratings of it. It matters because this is what people sit down to enjoy for their evenings, for their middays. But oh, by the way, there's just not enough to sustain this business model that is MSNBC. The end of the traditional cable news strategy, economy, financial system seems to be now at the precipice of collapse. Folks, that is the video for this Sunday. Hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for coming our way. Again, reminder on that programming note, we'll be doing the Pro Show Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, live covering the Disney shareholders meeting. Then Valiant Renegade will have coverage continuing right on through. And folks, it's going to be a big, big day. This has been a nightmare quarter for the House of Mouse. Do not miss out on what we have to say and what's going on. We would love to have you there. Folks, on the way out the door, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing this weekend, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Hey, Floral, guess what?
You put a fork in Pro's microwave again.
No, that was yesterday.
I don't know that what.
Oh, I've decided to give up on torturing Jonas.
What? Why? In the same way the cat sleeps like 20 hours a day, that was like your purpose.
I know, but I've decided there's bigger fish to fry.
Okay.
Like Lorne. I mean, think about it. Everybody loves him. He's a fan favorite, and frankly, he has almost no weaknesses I can find. Except that he's really smart.
So, you want to annoy the one panelist without a single flaw, because he's smart.
Yeah, like that winged statue at that fancy Paris museum thingy. I want to break the one thing that everyone loves most.
Right. So, kind of like the opposite of Rachel Zegler.
Yeah, exactly. And I get to see her all the time at family reunions anyway.
You get to see Rachel Zegler?
Yeah. She's a total troll. Lives under a bridge, harasses billy goats, the whole 9 yards.
It all makes sense now.
Speaking of which, maybe she'll get me... Okay, I'm gonna call her on my... I'm gonna call her and see if she'll be in the next Indiana Jones. She should be the next Indiana Jones. That'll totally destroy Lord. He loves Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's cruel.
Hey, Rach. I've got a cool idea for you that involves a whip and snakes.
I love that description. It's perfect.
I know, right? Weird, as we always say.